Welcome back to the Spread Pick'em Show with Mike and Andrew. We are already in week number 9, right? We just went over this. Number
Yep.
9. I forgot. Number 9. We are coming off some pretty bad weeks last week, but we'll go over it real quick. Andrew, how are you to start off?
I'm doing great. How about you, Mike?
Not bad. Not bad. Okay, let's get into it. So, in a couple hours, actually, no, this is for the game tonight. I'm stupid. We're doing a review first. I should have known. So, last week, it was Atlanta at Carolina. Carolina lost by, a touchdown or so. So, I got Atlanta there. You took the Panthers. For Pittsburgh, Baltimore, you got Pittsburgh. I still feel Baltimore should have won that game, but they lost by more than 4. The Jets at KC. Once again, Andrew takes the Jets, and every time he does, I love it. Actually, spoiler alert, I might take the Jets this week. Might is the key word, but we'll see. But I took the Chiefs there. They won by a lot. Tennessee at Cincinnati. Tennessee was a minus 5.5. They lost, and we both took the Titans. I wanted to take the Bengals, but I didn't do it because I'm stupid. But anyway, the Rams at Miami. You should have picked your boy Tua, although he did nothing in that game, and it was all the defense.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rams lost outright, so we lost that one. Indy at Detroit, Matt Stafford pick 6. My goodness, and I'm still not a believer in the Colts. I'm sorry to say, I just don't think they're an elite team. Are they pretty good? Sure, but I don't think they're elite. So yeah, nice win by them though. You got the win there. I got the loss. New England at Buffalo. Very close game, and Buffalo was a minus 3.5. We both took them, but they won by 3. And that's how the cruel world of sports, betting kind of lives on, and we lose by half a point, which sucks. But anyway, Las Vegas at Cleveland, a game I feel like Cleveland should have won if Jarvis Landry hauled in that touchdown, but they lost, and Las Vegas took the win there. So we took the L for both of those games. Minnesota at Green Bay, I took the Vikings. One of our commenters said, I'm stupid for taking the Vikings. Man, they won the game. I don't know how they did it. I mean, Dalvin Cook's pretty good. I mean, Dalvin Cook's like the one.
I thought you were pretty stupid for taking the Vikings too.
Well, I mean, look, running backs matter.
I'll give
Dalvin
you
Cook's
it.
great. What can I say?
Oh God, yeah, let's start that.
Honestly, though, Dalvin Cook's a difference maker. Like we saw Madison start that one game against the Falcons, and he did not look that great. Just saying, Dalvin Cook's pretty damn good. All right, but he was a second-round pick, though. So yes, I still have the same feelings towards that. Anyway, on to where are we at? We are on to LAC at Denver. The Chargers, man, they should have won, but of course, Denver and our man, Drew Lock with a nice comeback there, doing his dance moves. I don't know if the dance moves are good or not, but a nice comeback by them. We took the L, though, because we both took the Chargers, so that's unfortunate. The Saints at the Chicago Bears. We both took the Saints. They won the game by 3, but they were a minus 4.5, so we lost that one. San Francisco at Seattle. Seattle was a minus 2.5. San Francisco lost by a lot. Garoppolo was hurt. George Kittle was hurt. That's a shame. But George Kittle was hurt as well. Seattle wins by a lot. Get the dub there. Dallas at Philly. Philly was a minus 8. At halftime, I said, this is like the worst game ever. I probably should have just picked the Cowboys, but you guys pulled away. That was nice to see. Your quarterback, though, man, Carson Bortles really showed up on Sunday. I'm not going to lie. Do you want to touch on that or no? I mean, we're not going to talk about Wentz, are we?
Nah. It's the inconsistency kills me.
Yes. All right. We'll leave it at that. All right. And then for Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay at the Giants. My Giants gave them a really good fight. They should have went to overtime, and the Giants should have won that game. Let's be real with ourselves here. But the Giants, they covered that 10.5-point spread. We both took the Buccaneers. I figured they would lose by a lot, but hey, they actually competed very well in that game. So now we're on to week number 9. We start with a game that's in a couple hours. Green Bay at San Francisco. Green Bay is a minus 6. I'll go over the injuries real quick. There's a lot of them. So, I mean, who do we have that's important now? I think for the Niners, it's a bunch of guys. Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, who's the good Tevin Coleman's out. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, it's a lot of people here, obviously. And for the Packers, there's some. I mean, Bakhtiari is still questionable. I saw Aaron Jones is active, so that's good for them, of course. Kevin King's out. So, yeah, some injuries on both sides. The Niners are definitely more hampered. The Packers are a minus 6, and we both like Green Bay here.
Yeah, I like Green Bay, but you did bring up a good point in the recap. Dalvin Cook was the difference maker in that game against Green Bay last week, and now that they're going into a semi-full running back room in San Francisco there where they know how to run the ball, it is a little concerning. Not concerning to the point where I'm going to pick San Francisco with all their injuries, but it is kind of concerning. I think Green Bay wins this game. I'll take them winning the game by more than 6 points. I think Aaron Rodgers, he was regressing from 2016 to 2019. Obviously, he's proved me wrong since then. If you don't agree with that statement, the statistics did prove it back then, but I'm not going to get into that here. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with Aaron Jones there. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to get too many carries tonight. I think he's going to be a little bit less of an impact in this game, but I still think Green Bay takes it.
I agree. As long as the Packers don't have any stupid turnovers and give like the Niners defense some things to work with, I think they'll win this game by at least a touchdown. I just think there's way too many injuries. And Nick Mullins, the last time we saw him, I think, well, except for last week, was against your Eagles, I think, and he threw like that terrible pick six, another interception right after that or right before that. He looked awful. So, I mean, against a Packers defense, which is not the best, I mean, they're all right. I mean, they have a shutdown corner. They're not. I mean, they definitely regressed from last year. I'll put it that way. But I still respect their defense from a standpoint of they have a lot of talent there. So I think against an offense that doesn't have George Kittle, their best weapon, their best two wide receivers, and J. Michael Hasty's their starting running back. Although I like Hasty, I like him, but he's not like a great running back or anything like that. Maybe Jordan Reed, who returns from injury, the tight end, makes an impact in this game. But I just don't see how the Niners move the ball consistently. And one quarterback in this game is Aaron Rodgers. The other one's Nick Mullins. Is really all you have to say. And I think that I do think Shanahan's the better coach, but Matt LaFleur is not terrible either. He can definitely scheme a nice offense. So, I mean, I'll go with Green Bay, but I did want to pick the Niners. We did go over that before. I was kind of on the fence because I'm like, hey, the Packers can't really stop the run too well. And I don't care who's running the ball for Shanahan. They're always good at running the ball. But I saw that the Packers are league average against the run. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go with the Packers. I don't want to hate myself when the Packers win by 24 points tonight. So we'll go with them. All right. So now on the Sunday's games, we start with my team, the Giants. They are at Washington this time. Did you know, and I think this is true, but I'm not positive, Daniel Jones has 4 wins in the NFL, 3 of them against Washington, the Redskins / football team at the time. But yeah, that's a pretty crazy stat. And the other one's against Tampa, of course. So that was a great game. But yes.
Oh, no, I was just going to go on to the – all right. Well, I feel like I've heard that stat before. Daniel Jones has been good against Washington. This one's a little tricky to me. I don't understand why Washington are favorites. I think the Giants are a team that you see week in and week out. They get better every single week. And let's be honest for a second. The Washington football team hasn't really done that. I mean, they have, then they haven't. Their defensive line has been pretty consistent so far. But let's not act like the Giants' offensive line in that game against the Buccaneers wasn't pretty good. I mean, that's a salvageable offensive line to beat the Washington football team. You get a similar performance to that, you're going to beat this team. And it's a little tricky to me as to why Washington's 3-point favorites, especially since the Giants already took down Washington. Now, I get it. Washington was a 2-point conversion away from winning that game. But if you had a spread like this on that game, the Giants still cover. So it's a little amazing to me how Washington is the favorite in this one. I don't think you can really go off of anything. And like you said, the Giants should have won probably 5 of the games that they've lost this season. And now they're still, not the favorite against Washington. A little tricky to me here. Especially since the Giants put up such a great fight against the Buccaneers, lost me some money, or my dad money. But, it's a little tricky to me. I am going to go with the Giants.
Yeah, I didn't say the line. It's Washington -3, but you did say that the Giants were they were underdogs in this game. So, it's a little confusing to me. I mean, they came off a really good offensive line performance, as we saw on Monday, against another really good front seven. This is another really good front seven with Washington. But if they can block that well, I don't see any reason why they can't win this game. And as we said, since the Daniel Jones era has begun, they've really had Washington's number. And it's usually pretty close games. 3 points is a good amount of leeway. So, I mean, the Giants, I don't see them losing this game by 4 or more. I think the Giants outright win this game. And I'm as realistic as anybody about this team. So I really think this is a matchup they could win. The Giants have been playing well. They've been in every game. And I think the coaching staff's been great. It is a short week. And I don't know, Washington might be coming off a bye. That might be why they're getting this extra. To me, it's I don't really care. I feel like the Giants they're just playing harder right now. And I think they might be a bit more talented. Defenses are the same, I would say. Maybe Washington's offense is a tiny bit better, but then it's who cares? The Giants can still win this game, in my opinion. I'll take them to win the game. So with that being said, we'll both take the Giants there as 3-point underdogs, and I think we both believe they can outright win this game. I could never see myself putting the Giants as a favorite bet, but I might when we get there. So we'll see. Next, we're on to Carolina at KC. KC is a -10.5. I wanted to pick the Chiefs, but we both went with the Panthers here.
Yeah, you went with my Panthers, I'm going to say, because I feel like I've picked them so many damn times in this.
Yes.
But Christian McCaffrey's back, and there were a little concerning. There were some concerns early in the season about maybe the Panthers not being so reliant on Christian McCaffrey now that they have Teddy Bridgewater there and they can throw the ball. They have a good wide receiving core, but you saw that wasn't true. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is what drives this offense in the red zone, and this offense hasn't been so efficient in the red zone so far this season. They're relying on Joey Sly, who's a great kicker. He was an inch away from setting that kicking record. I know you posted that on your YouTube as well, but he drives the red zone. And if you're going to put Kansas City as 10.5-point favorites against a team that's, again, what I love about Teddy Bridgewater the most, his ability to keep his team in games. Now that you have the best running back in the NFL back on your team, I think that statement is supported even further. I do feel comfortable going Carolina here. But Kansas City, again, I mean, you have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You can win by 30 in any game. It's really tricky with Kansas City, but I do think Carolina will cover.
Yeah, the thing that concerned me was when watching Carolina on Thursday, they made Matt Ryan and their offense that didn't have Calvin Ridley for most of it look really good against the pass. And, like, I don't know what their rank is on the season, but if the Panthers look that bad against Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense in the passing game, what can the Chiefs do? So another concerning part is that the Chiefs have a bye after this week, and I feel like it would be a good time for them to just go all out and, just put up a lot of points here. They did it last week against the Jets, but I guess as you always say that Teddy Bridgewater will not turn the ball over a crazy amount. He'll keep them in this game. I do like the fact that McCaffrey's coming back. My Mike Davis run looks like it's over in fantasy. That was in fun 5 or 6 weeks, but McCaffrey, as we know, is a better player and definitely will help them in the receiving game more than a guy like Mike Davis was. But, yeah, they should be able to move the ball. KC's defense is not the best. I feel like I saw that Frank Clark – was it not Frank Clark? Was it Frank? I don't know. I think it was Frank Clark not practicing right now, so maybe he's out of this game. I think Chris Jones was just on the COVID list or some crap. So, like, hopefully for our sake, those guys just sit out this week and it makes it easier for the Panthers to run the ball and whatnot. But it is 10.5. So do I feel like the Panthers will win this game? No, but I think they can cover 10.5. So we'll both go with them there. Next is a game we disagree on, and I'm excited to get into this one. Baltimore, they are at the Indianapolis Colts. You love the Colts. I think they're kind of frauds still. I know they had that great win against the Lions, but the Lions stink. I don't care. If they win this game, Andrew, I'll tell you right now, if they win this game, the Colts, I will give them mad respect. But for now, I'm not buying it. This is the big week for me. But I'm going with Baltimore. You're going with the Colts here.
Of course I'm going with the Colts. I've been high on the Colts all year long. And honestly, I think the Colts are a better version of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And you saw Lamar Jackson against Pittsburgh. He couldn't really run the ball that much. And that's what Lamar Jackson usually tends to do after he can't get anything going in the pass, which is something he, again, couldn't do against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really like the Indianapolis Colts front seven. I think they have better linebackers, overall linebackers, than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if the linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers can get it going against Lamar Jackson, to me, that just makes me believe that the linebackers for the Colts are going to do the same exact thing. Now, what does concern me a little bit is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, unlike Teddy Bridgewater, who we just talked about, can lose you a football game by turning the ball over. But if he doesn't turn the ball over, that's where Phillip Rivers is really good. And that's where Phillip Rivers, I think, could dominate here a Baltimore Ravens defense that's not looking so great lately. They're really not. They get Michael Pittman Jr. back. I know he was there last week, but he was a little shaken up still, so he'll get back into it full time here. T.Y. Hilton, I think, is the difference in this game. I think they need to get T.Y. Hilton on different routes to open up more receivers down the field. I think T.Y. Hilton's really been only doing the slant vertical this year. I think he really needs to open up the playbook a little bit.
Wrong? Isn't Hilton hurt or no? Or is it not serious?
Is he hurt now?
I think he has a groin injury, so, I mean, he might be hurt.
That doesn't help me.
I mean, if he's in, though, you're right, yeah.
Well, let's just go with that he's in for now. I mean, it's Thursday. There's a lot of question marks about who's going to be playing, who won't. But they do need to open the field up more for their receivers. They have pretty good receivers here in Indianapolis. Not the greatest, but they need to use T.Y. Hilton more, not necessarily to catch the ball, but to open it up for other receivers. I also think Jonathan Taylor could be a big part in this if the Colts can get some push offensively on that offensive line, which honestly they haven't been doing that well lately. I think this is going to be an Indianapolis not only cover but win.
Yeah, they got Ryan Kelly back, I think, last week, and it made their offensive line look better. But, You look at the Colts right now, they might not have Jonathan Taylor with an ankle injury, although he's not been that good. Hilton might be out as well, and I think maybe Mo Alley Cox might be out. He's not practicing right now either, so there are some concerns there. But you look at the other side, and I think Marlon Humphrey's on the COVID list, so like that's never good, and he's great. Who do they get back? I think they get their pass rusher. Why am I forgetting his name? Judon. I think they get him back, which would be nice. So I've been saying this for weeks now, but this should be a game where Baltimore should be able to put up points. For some reason, like I would like to buy into the Colts defense and whatnot. I still don't for some reason. I just feel like, I don't know if it's the defense or the fact that Phillip Rivers can lose you a game at any point. That kind of factors into it as well. But when I just look at both of these rosters, I'm just like, yeah, Baltimore is a much better team. And like, yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I mean, losing Stanley definitely hurts them, the left tackle for the year. So that's something to watch out for. And maybe they get some more pressure on Jackson. But, we expect better from Lamar coming off the MVP season. Regression was expected, but not to this level. He's not even close to what he was last year. So for his sake, I hope they get better. But what we saw last week is that we saw they ran the ball, the Ravens, so well. If they just kept running the ball, they probably win that game against the Steelers. Maybe they try and do the same thing here. I know the Colts, I think, are a really good run defense, so like it's going to be hard to do it against them. But if they can, so are the Steelers, though. So if they can do it against the Steelers, why not the Colts? If they keep it on the ground here, I think Mark Ingram might be out, but I really don't care. He's probably the worst running back on this team now because of his age and decline. But still, they have Dobbins and they have Gus Edwards, who's actually not terrible. So, you give it to those guys and you let Lamar run the ball on the ground, of course, and pass when you have to, and you see what happens. I think they can finally play a good game here. It's only 2.5 points, so I think they can win this game by a field goal. I am interested to see what happens here. I'll be watching this game pretty closely, and I hope I can come on here next week and tell you the Colts suck. Well, I won't say they suck, but I'll tell you they're overrated, and hopefully Baltimore blows them out, but we'll see. Next, we're on to Seattle at Buffalo. So this should be an interesting game. Pretty, I wouldn't say even teams, but it's two pretty good teams here. Should be a fun matchup. Seattle's 3-point favorites on the road. Buffalo has not looked good in the past 3 or 4 games or so, but we both like Seattle here anyway.
I mean, I like Seattle every week as long as Russell Wilson's the one throwing the football for them. And their defense actually last week didn't look that awful. I mean, it surprised me a little bit. I mean, they shouldn't have looked they shouldn't have looked awful, I should say, against San Fran, especially with all those injuries back and forth going on offensively for them. But I mean, it's Russell Wilson. And look, DK Metcalf is better than I expected. I've had my problems with DK Metcalf, especially going into the draft. I really think Combine can tell you a lot about a player, but not really much as to what he can do on the field. And I think everybody was overhyping him at the Combine. People were saying he was a first-round pick. Pretty sure he didn't drop till the 3rd round, maybe late 2nd round if I'm wrong there. But DK Metcalf, he's looking like he's really good. Now, I still think DK Metcalf needs to get a little more versatile in the sense that he needs to but start to develop more routes in the middle of the field. You could see him consistently going vertical. But I really like Seattle. I don't think Seattle has proven me wrong anytime this year. They won me money. They've lost me money. But, hey, Buffalo beating New England by 3 last week, that's not encouraging. That's not encouraging at all, especially now that they're playing an offense in Seattle that is really, really good compared to New England lately. And I just don't really have confidence in Buffalo. I really like Buffalo, but I like Seattle that much more.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're actually getting Carlos Dunlap in the lineup, who they just traded for, and Jamal Adams, which is great news for them as well. I think Buffalo, I think they have a bye after this. And I'm honestly, this is what I think is going to happen. I think Buffalo's going to go in the bye, work on what the hell they're doing wrong, and just come out and be the same team that looked like, and more towards the team that looked like the first 4 games rather than the team that looked like the last 4 games. So I think they'll get better, but I see this as a spot where once again I could see Seattle having a really nice game here. I think Metcalf, I kind of said the same thing in the draft process. Like, I would have taken him, but, like, not in the first round. I was kind of skeptical because, like, as a route runner, he didn't really impress me too much, but there's such thing in the NFL as going to the perfect team, and we do agree that Metcalf went to the perfect team. Like, Seattle and Russell Wilson's deep ball just fits him perfectly. So, hey, good job by them, scouting a guy and realizing he would fit their scheme very well and drafting him. So that definitely worked out for them. But I think a guy like Tyler Lockett here, especially in the slot against the Bills, can have a really big game here. Once again, Tyler Lockett's due for those games all the time. This can be a spot for it. I mean, the Bills, they should be better than they are defensively, and Seattle sucks defensively. We know that, but They get two key pieces back in Dunlap and Adams here. I mean, Dunlap's being in the lineup for the first time after the trade, so we'll see how that works. But their defense should be better, of course, with those two guys there. And Josh Allen's going to make mistakes. Russell Wilson, aside from that, Arizona game a few Monday nights ago or Sunday nights ago, is not a guy who's going to lose you many games. He'll win you a lot of games. And I think this might be an instance of where it happens. Hopefully the wind is not too crazy in Buffalo around this time of year, which could happen. But as long as his deep ball is working, I think Russell Wilson and the Seattle offense should be fine. And I trust them more than the Buffalo Bills offense, if I'm being honest. So I will go with Seattle as well. It's only a -3, so I think they're the better team. We'll go with them. Next is a game we disagree on. The Chicago Bears at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are a -5.5. Now, I did tell you this before. I look at these teams as somewhat similar. I mean, the Bears have a better defense, but they're both like hard-nosed, grinding teams. Like, they love to run the ball. You know what I mean? Like, identity-wise, they're kind of the same. They're not the exact same team. I would take Tannehill over Foles any day, but I think just identity-wise, these teams are pretty similar. 5.5 was a lot to me. I went with the Bears, and you went with the Titans here.
Yeah, I went with the Titans, but I don't really think it's going to be much more than 5.5. I actually think Vegas nailed this one, if I'm being honest, because Tennessee's defense has improved much this year, and this is a chance for Nick Foles to actually put up a good amount of points here. And now you got a Tennessee offense who's playing a great Chicago Bear defense where they might not be able to get anything going. The reason why I did pick the Tennessee Titans is I think they have one of the most versatile offenses in the league, maybe right behind the Kansas City Chiefs. They do everything well. They can pass well, they can run well, and really whatever's working, they're going to be dependent on the whole game, and I'm totally confident in them doing so. If the run's working very well, put it in the hands of the best running back or arguably the best running back in the NFL in Derrick Henry. If that's not working well, maybe try and get him going in the pass game a little bit. Maybe that's an extent for Derrick Henry because he doesn't really like going in the pass game that much, but they can pass the ball. I mean, my main concern about this is A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown did not practice today. He is questionable. I do think A.J. Brown goes out there and performs, but let's be honest. A.J. Brown doesn't really do anything in the first half of football games either. He really is more of a second-half receiver, so they have to establish some kind of thing offensively with or without A.J. Brown. I think Corey Davis is huge in this one. I really trust the versatility in Tennessee on offense to go win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from with this one, but as I said, these teams to me are too similar, and I do like Chicago's defense. I mean, I feel like they get overshadowed for how bad their offense is. Like when you talk about the Bears nowadays, it's like, oh, their quarterback situation sucks. Allen Robinson's never gonna have a good quarterback. Like you never talk about how good their defense is. Still, a lot of good players on that defense. So I will say, coming off 2 bad games in a row, not bad games, but last week was better for Tennessee. 2 weeks ago they played Pittsburgh, a game they should have tied, but Gostowski, I mean, does Gostowski things, unfortunately. And you have to take that into consideration as well during this spread. Like, will Gostowski miss a kick to possibly lose the spread for you? I say it's very possible. So do I trust Nick Foles? I mean, I don't know. No one ever knows because Nick Foles can come out and look great, kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick in a way, or sometimes just look absolutely terrible. So I think against a Tennessee team that definitely struggles, especially in their secondary, I'm going to say they can get Allen Robinson involved. I mean, this Darnell Mooney guy gets open deep all the time. They miss him most of the time. But if he catches a deep ball in this one, maybe they find a way to make it happen. So I say the Bears put up enough offense here. I think their defense will do pretty well. They'll probably sell out to stop Derrick Henry. And as you said, if they don't have A.J. Brown in the passing game, it's going to help a lot. I mean, Corey Davis has been great this year. I get that. But I think he's been with A.J. Brown most of the time in the lineup. So, I can't really say Corey Davis can be a wide receiver 1. We've seen it the past, 3 years before A.J. Brown was in the league. It did not go too well for Mr. Corey Davis. I know Tannehill was not there yet, but still, it's going to help me a lot if A.J. Brown is not playing this game for the spread. So I will go with Chicago here. You go with Tennessee. Next, we're on to my Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. I'm done with my Lions for now. I mean, they have to stop doing stupid stuff. It's every week. It's a red zone interception, a pick six, they're fumble. I mean, it's unbelievable. So we're both going to go with the Vikings here. Now, I will say that Matt Stafford tested positive for COVID apparently 2 days ago. Then I heard today it was a false positive, and they're not sure if he's going to play. So I don't want to post this on a Thursday and then see Matt Stafford out for week 9. I'll be like, oh, why did I pick the Lions? We're just both going to go with the Vikings here to make that one easier.
Yeah, we're both going to go with the Vikings, but honestly, Matthew Stafford being in the game really doesn't make a difference here for me. It makes a difference, obviously, on how much the Vikings are going to win by, but it doesn't make a difference in the spread. Minnesota, they're not that bad. They remind me so much of the Atlanta Falcons in the fact that their record, just doesn't give them the right what's it called? It doesn't give them the right
Reputation.
reputation. Exactly, it doesn't give them the right reputation, and they're very much like the Falcons in that sense, where they can really get things going offensively if they're having a good night. But if you're the Detroit Lions, how are you not looking at that last game against the Green Bay Packers for the Vikings and saying, how the heck are we going to stop Dalvin Cook? I mean, you could argue that the Detroit Lions run defense is just as bad, if not worse, than the Packers run defense, and it's really going to be hard for the Lions defense to stop Dalvin Cook. Now, even if they do stop Dalvin Cook, they still have a passing offense that is still pretty decent if Kirk Cousins can keep the ball out of the hands of the opposing team. They still have Adam Thielen there. I mean, look, their offense is still pretty good. The loss of Stephon Diggs obviously hurts that passing game tremendously, but they filled him in perfectly with Justin Jefferson, who I think was perfect scheme fit for the Vikings. I think they're going to win this one with or without Matthew Stafford in on the other side, and I think they're going to cover the spread.
Are you still mad about Justin Jefferson, seeing how well Jalen Reagor's played since he's been in the lineup? I know it's one game, but even week one.
This is another example of the DK Metcalf situation where the Eagles drafted a wide receiver over DK Metcalf, and I think Justin Jefferson fell to the perfect team.
Fair enough. Okay, I can see that. I will say for the Lions, I don't think Kenny Golladay is going to play in this game, which would be a pretty big loss, honestly, for them. So you're going
future
from
Giant.
Kenny Golladay. Oh, I hope so. I'll take him or Allen Robinson. I don't care. But it's definitely a big downgrade going from Golladay to Marvin Jones. I like Marvin Jones, but he's a wide receiver too now. Let's be honest. So big loss for them there. But the Vikings, they should be fine in this game. Dalvin Cook was a monster last week, and I see no reason why he'll stop again. I think they placed Trey Flowers, I think it is, on the IR. I'm pretty sure I saw the Lions do that. So, I mean, they're kind of losing some bodies over there. And, the Lions defense is not anything great, in my opinion. And as you said, Kirk Cousins has to keep the ball out of the opponent's team's hands, which is not a guarantee. But, what they do is they want to keep the ball on the ground. And if Dalvin Cook's running for 4 or 5 yards a clip, I mean, why would you stop? You know what I mean? So they'll limit his pass attempts. They'll run some play action sometimes, and sometimes it'll work. And I'm sure they'll get some deep shots. I see Thielen having a pretty nice game here. Maybe Jefferson breaks a big one as well. So I think offensively, the Vikings will be fine. For the Lions offense, I have my concerns. I mean, we don't have Golladay. It definitely limits you a lot. I think a guy like Hawkinson can carry them for sure, but how far can they really go? Maybe Marvin Hall, of all people, has a random 80-yard touchdown in this game. You never know. But I definitely see the outcome for the Vikings offense being a lot more clear and likely for having a good game as compared to the Lions. By the way, nice Christmas lights in your room. I just realized that. I kind of want that in my room.
Oh,
my
thank you.
Kind of we're not too colorful over here. It's
Thank
awful.
you.
I still have a girl's bed because when we moved here, this was a girl's bed and it looks like a girl's bed. So I don't want people thinking that's actually my bed. But yeah, don't judge me. Anyway, Houston at Jacksonville. This is a game where I really wanted to pick Houston, but I just feel like the entire world's gonna pick Houston. So I'm like, you know what? Vegas probably knows. I'm just gonna go with Jacksonville. Some guy, what's his name? Something Luton Free.
Luton.
I mean, I don't know who this is. We're gonna call him Luton Free on here. But yeah, I went with Jacksonville just for the hell of it, and you're gonna go with the Texans here.
Yeah, I just want to point out real quick for everybody watching right now, before we started recording, this guy picked Jacksonville because he watched Luton Free, as we like to call him.
Yes.
One pass. He watched one pass. He watched one pass, and then he chose Jacksonville. So keep that in mind. If Jacksonville wins this game, or covers the spread rather, I'll give you props. But Luton Free's not going to get it done. He's just not going to get it done. I don't think it's going to happen. I think trust Deshaun Watson and this offense too much. And let's be honest for a second. Both teams are coming off the bye, so that kind of eliminates your coming off the bye bias here. Deshaun Watson has played a lot better, and so is the Texans offense without Bill O'Brien. Shocker to anybody who's been paying attention to the Texans over the last few years. But I chose Jacksonville in this game last time against Houston, and Houston covered this spread. I think it was a similar spread, maybe 6-7 points here. And they had Gardner Minshew on the other side of the field. Now they have Luton Free. Now that could be bad for me because, like Mike said, based off that one throw, he could be the best quarterback of all time. We don't really know. But I still am going to go with Houston here.
Yeah, my man Luton Free on the one pass, he looked good, man. I mean, nice deep ball to the left side, dropped it in the bucket. I mean, why can't he do it against the bad Texans defense? And the Texans defense does not scare me whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've looked better with Cornell. Maybe his old man wisdom is giving them, some better outcomes here. But like, I just think Jacksonville, like, they can put up points offensively. Like, they still have talented guys like Chenault and DJ Chark, and who's the other wide receiver that you always own in fantasy? What the hell's the guy's name?
Keelan
No,
Cole.
no, not Cole. Him and it's some other guy. Who am I thinking of?
Oh,
He used to be a Chief.
did you say? Oh,
I forget his name though. Damn.
Chris Conley.
Yes, was he on the Chiefs or no? Am I wrong about that?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to
I
check
like
that
Chris
tomorrow or
Conley.
something. I don't know, but yes, they have good receivers. Is what I'm trying to say. I think they can move the ball, and then the running back James Robinson, he's no slouch either. I mean, this Texans run defense is dog crap. Let's be honest here. So I think Jacksonville, despite having the quarterback quote unquote downgrade, and Gardner Minshew hasn't played well recently. I think a lot of it can do with the torn ligaments in his thumb or whatever it's been for how long now. But Luton here is not the worst guy in the world, as you can see. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville to keep this close. I hope the Texans win this game because that'd be pretty embarrassing. I know Jacksonville sucks, but it's a touchdown. I look at Houston as a bottom 10 team in this league. I don't think they're that much better than Jacksonville to say, oh, you're more than a touchdown favorite. I forget who's at home in this game. Jacksonville's at home too, so I feel even better about that one. So you know what? Give me Jacksonville. Might be my favorite bet this week. No, I'm kidding. No chance. But anyway, for this show, we'll go with Jacksonville. Next game, we have a fun one. I hope I watch a lot of this one. Hopefully it's on TV a lot. Denver at Atlanta. Atlanta's a -3.5. Atlanta has the extended rest, and Denver's coming off that very, very awesome comeback victory against the Chargers, but everyone does that against the Chargers anyway. But our guy Drew Lock looked good in that one, as I said before. But Atlanta -3.5. You want the Falcons, and I want the Broncos.
Yes, and I don't know why you're picking the Broncos here. I get it. They came back against LA, but is it really that big of a deal? Apparently it is with you, Mike. I'm going to go with Atlanta. Now, this is a team that I haven't really gone with that much this year because of the blown leads. You might say that's a stupid reason not to pick the Falcons. It's not. It really is not. That's not a stupid reason anymore. I really, really like the Falcons in this game. And as you see, Mike on the phone there, calling the Atlanta Falcons.
We got Moon on the phone. The Falcons fan of the show.
Right,
please tell us. Give us the score prediction for this Falcons Broncos game, please. Oh, there he is. Oh.
I think the Falcons are going to win like 42-10.
Seriously?
Yeah.
All right. Cold Take Exposed coming up. All right. So 42-10 Atlanta. That makes me even just more happy to
I'm glad
the
you got that on
here.
video. I'm going to post that.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's being serious as usual. He's a clown, let's be honest. But I'm going to go with Denver. I mean, Denver can stop the run. We know that. I have my concerns against, the pass for Denver's defense. It's not been the best this year. But if they can stop the inefficient Todd Gurley and keep him out of the end zone, then that'll definitely help. And I think Calvin Ridley, their wide receiver too, has been great this year. Probably not going to play. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he's going to play. So if you can just shut down Julio Jones and double team him, because why the hell not? Then I think they'll be fine here. I know the Broncos don't have Cortland Sutton on their offense, and the Broncos defense is banged up as hell. I mean, Jarrell Casey's out for the year, and I think they got Boye back. And Von Miller actually is thinking about coming back in 3 or 4 weeks. I saw he was, determined he'd be out for the season.
That's nuts.
But he wants to come back. They're 3-4. I mean, maybe they find a way in the wild card race. I don't know, but we'll see. It would be nice for him to come back. But the Broncos, I mean, both of these defenses are not that good. But I do think the Broncos have a bit more talent defensively. And Atlanta's offense is a bit more talented. But I love Locke. I'm going to be honest. I love the guy. I'm going to go with the Broncos here. They're coming off that awesome fourth quarter where the offense looked great. Atlanta's defense ain't good at all. I mean, the Chargers defense isn't the best, but the Falcons is even worse. So if they can do that in one quarter and they finally found their mojo, maybe they find a way to do it for a full game. We can only hope. So I'll go with the Broncos there. You go with the Falcons. Next,
before we move on,
yes,
I have something.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So my fantasy team's got a lot of bye weeks this week. I'm not going to win this week. So
Yep.
if that focuses, I don't know if it will.
Is that
my
Luton
quarterback
time?
is Luton free this week. I made the decision,
Wow.
executive decision. I needed a quarterback. I'm going to start him over Tua. Just putting it out there.
Is that your only option? Just Tua? Is it Tua versus Luton? Or who else is on free agents? I mean, who's on the waivers?
Well, I actually did pick up Kirk Cousins, but then I dropped him just for
Why don't you
Luton.
get Drew? Can you get Drew Lock or no? Speaking of Drew Lock,
I was gonna pick up Drew Lock last week because shout out to Fantasy Brothers, which is owned by Mike. If you're not following, go follow the Fantasy Brothers on Instagram. Yeah, exactly. He asked me, Andrew, who do you think a good waiver wire pickup last week for quarterback was? I got clowned for picking Drew Lock. I'll just put that out there. I got clowned. I got clowned by you and your brother. So
you're right.
It's whatever.
I picked Garoppolo for that, and I think he had 2 points. So yeah, I guess I'm the clown. I get it. I picked Nyheim Hines though; he was pretty good. All right, on to Las Vegas at the Chargers. I was surprised here. I figured Las Vegas would be like a -4 or so, or 3.5. Turns out the Chargers are the -1 here. We both like Las Vegas because I honestly feel they're the better team.
Yeah. So how do you go from losing to the Broncos in LA how do you go from the Chargers losing to the Broncos to all of a sudden the Raiders not being able to beat the Chargers? I just want to point out real quick that if the Raiders, I think I've said this on a past one, if the Raiders beat the Buccaneers, which that game wasn't very close, but it was okay. They were competitive for at least half of that game.
38-20.
Yeah. Derek Carr would have beaten Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and I'm forgetting one more, but there was a good win in there. Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
So you're telling me that he can't beat Justin Herbert? I get it. Justin Herbert's good, but Justin Herbert couldn't beat Drew Lock.
He's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I think John Gruden's going to just scheme it up a little bit against the Chargers. I don't really need that much of an argument for this one. Right away, I looked at this and I said, wow, I think the Raiders are going to outright win this game. And I think they might win by literally like a touchdown or so. Like, I think it could get to that point. I think if you put the Raiders at 4.5 in this game, 3.5 as favorites, I think I still would have picked them. So that just shows how confident I am in the Raiders.
Yeah, maybe we don't realize if the Chargers are good or not because they have like a bad stigma right now. Because like I feel like I might have seen a stat where they've blown like 4 straight. This might be crazy because I feel like I might have seen this wrongly, but 4 straight 16-point leads or something like that.
Possibly.
Can't be right. Right. I mean, it's possible, right? You think about that Tampa Bay game, it was 24-6 at one point. That Chargers game last week was, I mean, they were up by like 20-something to something single digits. So, like, they've had some rough losses. Like, let's be real here. So maybe the Chargers aren't that bad, and maybe Las Vegas is just – they were really good the first 6 weeks or so, and now they're not as good. But, hey, they beat those really great Cleveland Browns last week. So, I mean, they can do that. They can beat this Charger team here. I think, Derek Carr, I don't love him, but he's been fine this year. I mean, even Josh Jacobs, they gave him the rock a lot last week. And although he could not find the end zone, I don't think he had like 3 straight 1-yard chances at the 1-yard line, could not get in. So the fantasy owners did not like that one. But Jacobs, efficiency-wise, has been pretty good lately. So I will say they'll just establish the ground game here. And honestly, Henry Ruggs has been a good addition to this offense. He should have had a touchdown last week. I thought he was in. If you watch that game, you probably know what play I'm talking about. He was like as close as you can get to not scoring a touchdown on that play. So he's been good for them, honestly. And it's not like the Chargers secondary has been that great. I think Chris Harris is still out, by the way. So, of course, they don't have their safety, Derwin James. We've known that for a while now. So they don't scare me too much. I think Darren Waller could have a big game here once again. It's not like the Chargers linebackers are that great in coverage, I don't think. Who was the kid they drafted this year at linebacker? Kenneth Murray, right? They have him.
I love Kenneth Murray.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget if he's good in coverage or not. Maybe. Still, it's Darren freaking Waller. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, it really is. Yep.
He'll be fine. But I just feel like the Raiders are a better team. Not by a ton, but like you're calling this you're calling the Chargers the favorite here. It was just like kind of weird to see. So maybe we're the idiots, but we're gonna go with the Raiders here. We'll find out about that one. Next is a game that if you look at it, from week 1, it looked like a great game on the schedule, but now we look at it and it's like this is unwatchable. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Dallas Cowboys. We figured this would be an awesome game, and if Dak was still there and the Cowboys were decent, it probably would be an awesome game. But now we know it's Kellen Moore, or was it Garrett Gilbert as quarterback for the Cowboys? They benched our man.
Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, you mean?
Wait, who? Oh, Cooper Rush. Yes, I get those guys confused.
There you go.
Yeah, former Giant Cooper Rush, practice squad rep. So yeah, right now it is a -13.5. Actually, why doesn't Kellen Moore just play? I mean, Kellen Moore has to be like 30.
I'm pretty sure they said that last week during Sunday Night Football that he should just put on his stuff and play.
I didn't hear that, but like I'm just thinking about it. Like he cannot be that old. Like this guy is like probably in his early 30s. Like Your quarterbacks suck. Like, the offense the best. Get out there and, throw some touchdowns. Why not?
Nah.
Anyway, so Pittsburgh minus 13.5. We both like Pittsburgh here. I just don't see how the Cowboys have any sense of offense here. Is Cooper Rush good? Maybe. Is Garrett Gilbert good? Maybe. But I'm not going to count on that. I mean, if you're starting DiNucci over those guys, it probably says a lot about them. And the Eagles' defense is not as good as the Steelers, and they only put up like 9 points against them. And that was all in the first. Was it 12? Was it 9 or 12? It was 9, right?
It was 9.
And they had one of those, 3 of those points was a Greg Zuerlein field goal, which was one of the most crazy ass field goals I've ever seen to end the half. It was just a line drive, and it's somehow just like, got it. I don't even know. But yeah, what they did on offense is not sustainable. You're not going to beat the Steelers, or you're not going to come close to them just going off field goals. Dallas's defense sucks. I mean, we're both going to go with Pittsburgh here pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not go with Pittsburgh here? And I do have some breaking news that I just saw a couple seconds ago. Aaron Jones is in. Bakhtiari is out. So that's something to keep in mind. But I am going to go with we'll go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers here. I am going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. How could you not go with the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Dallas Cowboys? Now, this might be another Luton-free situation where we see the best quarterback of all time come in and play for the Dallas Cowboys. But you're right. I mean, why doesn't Kellen Moore play? Even Darren Orlovsky. What possibly could Darren Orlovsky be doing these days? Put him on the roster. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I am going to go with Pittsburgh here. Again, I really don't need any statistics whatsoever in this game. I think Pittsburgh's going to cover, and I think they might go up by possibly 3, maybe 4 touchdowns in this game. If they can beat the Baltimore Ravens, they can beat the Dallas Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert or who's it? Cooper Rush.
Kellen Moore.
So, yeah, Kellen Moore. Exactly.
They're all the same person to me. I really don't care. Yeah, I just don't see how it's, possible for this team to put up more than I think 13 points might be their max. I'm just going to be honest. That maybe they scored 2 touchdowns. I'll give them 14 points max. But you're saying the Steelers can't put up 30 points against this atrocious defense. It's going to be pretty easy for them. It depends. Does Pittsburgh bring their A game, or do they bring their this team sucks, let's just get by with a win type game? So if they do that, maybe they win by single digits. But if Pittsburgh really puts the pedal to the metal here, which they probably should, because everyone loves to beat up on the Cowboys, I mean, why not? Then I feel based on this, long historic rivalry, I guess, in the NFL. I mean, these teams have been around forever. Why wouldn't you want to go out and beat them pretty badly? You know what I mean? So I think on a game like this, it'll probably be a 4:00 game. That's probably on Fox if I had to guess. I don't know if it is. I don't know if I'm sure about that one, but it should be based on these other games. So yeah, I think they'll bring their A game here, put up a lot of points. And the Steelers, as we know, have a bunch of weapons. Their defense, it's been a little disappointing, but it's still a lot better than the Cowboys. So we'll go with them there. I know it's a lot, but there's a big talent discrepancy here with the quarterbacks and whatnot. So I feel all right about it. Next is Miami. They are at Arizona. Arizona's a minus 4.5, and Miami coming off that impressive win against the Rams last week. I figured, it would be switched here, and I would take Arizona and you would take the Dolphins, but it's actually switched. I'm taking the Dolphins and you're taking Arizona.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks straight where I've gone against my favorite quarterback at the 2020 draft, Tua Tagovailoa. But let's be honest for a second. How much did Tua really do in that win? Absolutely nothing. I mean, he scored off of turnovers. How much could you really give him credit for? But I do still like Arizona here. Now, Miami does scare me a little bit. This Miami team somehow figures out a way not to only cover in this game, but to win. This team's a playoff team. This team is a top 10 team in the NFL, especially if they can figure out if Tua is going to be good for them this year or not. Now, I think this could possibly be a game where if Tua doesn't do so well and they only lose by, let's say, 3 or 4 points and cover the spread, I think you could see Ryan Fitzpatrick suit back up. Hopefully that's not the case because I do like Tua, but if they can somehow keep this game close, maybe they feel more comfortable with Ryan Fitzpatrick taking them on a playoff run than they do with Tua at the moment. I did see a report that said they were very divided on draft day on Tua Tagovailoa and that he still has a lot to prove. Do I think he'll prove it? Yes, because I love Tua, but it is a concern. I am going to go with Arizona here because they are just so dominant. 2 teams I love this year were Arizona and LA, the Rams, that is, and they already took down the Rams, Miami. I don't think they'll be able to take down the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will score by probably a touchdown, maybe less than that, but nonetheless, that's still covering. I trust Kyler Murray. I trust DeAndre Hopkins, especially coming off of your favorite bye week, as you like to say, and I am going to go with the Cardinals.
I actually forgot about that. That's my fault. But did you say Miami's a top 10 team in there? Did you throw that one in there?
If Miami beats Arizona, they are a top 10 team in the NFL.
Uh, Depends how they win. If they, skate by a 1 or 2 point win, I'm probably not with you there, buddy. But I mean, we'll say. Let me ask you this: in Week 9 now, after seeing the Joe Burrow and his success, and even Justin Herbert, I guess we'll throw him in there because I know it's usually for you it's Tua versus Burrow. But
Yeah.
do you still feel Tua is going to have the best career of the quarterbacks in this class or no?
I do, but that's obviously saying a lot. And I think all three of them are going to have great careers. Justin Herbert has impressed me more than anybody. If you're a Giants fan, you're probably a little salty about that one because he did decide to go back to
Stop.
school instead of joining the New
Stop.
York Giants.
Stop.
But
Stop.
they're all incredible, and I don't think that saying Tua is better than Joe Burrow is diminishing Joe Burrow anyway. I think he's still better. I think he's still good, but he's just not better than my guy Tua, in my opinion. That could change.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Daniel Jones is better than Herbert. I don't care what anybody says. That'll
Yeah,
make
you really
people
showed
happy.
that in your post-game preview or post-game
Uh,
recap.
no one needs to watch that. All right. So for this game, I'm gonna go with Miami, and they impressed me on defense. They actually are getting a lot of pressure these days, which is not something I really expected. But like, hey, they're doing it. So if they find a way to get pressure here on Kyler Murray against the team that doesn't have a good offensive line, I know Kyler Murray can get out of any situation, has good pocket presence and whatnot. But if they can just get him off balance and throw on the run a lot, then like maybe they find a way here. And the Cardinals don't have one of their running backs in Kenyon Drake. I think Chase Edmonds might be better anyway, but is Chase Edmonds on a full workload? Is he still the effective guy that he usually is? We'll find out about that. And honestly, you mentioned DeAndre Hopkins and even a guy like Christian Kirk, but like Miami has two really good cornerbacks in Howard, and they also have
Yeah.
Byron Jones. So if they can like find a way to just like limit those guys a bit, I don't see the Cardinals having a crazy offensive game here. I think this might be like a big Chase Edmonds game. I could see that one happening. But for the receivers, maybe it doesn't happen here because those corners for Miami have played at a very high level this year. So we'll see. But I think Miami, I think your boy Tua might have a good game here. As he had like under 100 yards last week. He wasn't really asked to do much. And Miami's not going to score 2 defensive touchdowns or, a 1 defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown every week or a punt return. So I think every time I look at this matchup, I'm going to say I can see the Dolphins winning this one, but to make it what I think is going to happen here is that I think the Cardinals are going to win, but I would say they're going to win by 3 or 4. I think the 4.5 is great to me. If it was Cardinals minus 2.5, I would probably want to say the Cardinals, but now that I'm getting 4.5 and the different outcomes here, I'm going to just say I'll take the points and I'll take the Dolphins there. We're on the Sunday night football. New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a matchup or rematch of Week 1, and the Saints won that one pretty easily. But Tom Brady, first game on the Buccaneers, things have been a lot different since then. I think the Buccaneers have been the more impressive team, hence the reason they are now a 5-point favorite over the Saints. But the Bucs are the home team. We both like the Saints, though, in this one.
Yeah, I really hated the backlash I saw from people on Tom Brady after that first game of the season. I mean, come on. It's Tom Brady. He hasn't played with a new coach or a new organization in like 20 years, 22 years. Like, relax, okay? He's okay, and he's proved that so far. I mean, Tampa Bay's a top 3, top 2 team in the NFL, maybe the best team in the NFL. Let's be honest for a second. I am going to go with the Saints, though, and I will tell you why I'm going to go with the Saints. It's a little concerning what happened with the Giants Monday. And the only reason I say that is because I think the Saints stay in games, and I think the Saints actually do it better than the Giants in covering the spread. I think the Saints are one of those teams like the Giants that literally covers every spread. Maybe they're 1-7 like the Giants, or maybe they're whatever the Saints record is, but they do stay in games. That's what I love about the Saints, and that's why I'm going to take them to beat the Buccaneers. And they also get Michael Thomas back, which helps big time. I think he's still questionable, but I think he plays as long as he doesn't act like an idiot for the rest of the week and somehow lose his starting job. But yeah, I am going to go with New Orleans here.
Isn't it funny how C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets punched by Michael Thomas one week, and then that Wims guy on Chicago punches him in the face,
Right?
like not even the face,
Incredible.
the helmet. It was one of the weirdest things. Like, I've been watching football. Yeah, I'm not one of those people that's watched the game for 50 years, but I've been watching it for like 15 years now consistently. I've never seen a guy go up behind somebody and just like I think he pulled his mouth guard and just socked him like with a helmet on. I was like,
you know what's so idiotic to me is why you would punch someone in the helmet.
yeah, let's
Their
break
head
my
is getting
hand
pushed
as a
back the
receiver.
whole game.
Yeah.
They're going to feel anything because of that punch. It's really so stupid.
And the reaction by Gardner-Johnson was great. He just stared at him. He was just like,
Yeah.
and then like he hit him again,
Why
and then
did you do
nothing.
that?
Like, And then my man Norris Jenkins jumped on him. It was a really funny moment. It made a
Yeah.
boring game. I think the Saints and Chicago game, although it went to overtime, was honestly pretty boring. So it made a boring game somewhat pretty entertaining there. So I guess nice job there, Mr. Wims. But you are suspended for 2 games now. So for this game, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to take the Saints in this one. I feel good about it. And for the reasons you said, I think the Saints are a team, as we've said, that just they keep games close. You don't see the Saints get blown out too much. I mean, anytime the Saints lose, it's really not by a lot of points. And I think Drew Brees, as we know, does not love to pass the ball deep nowadays, but they're just so efficient with the short passing game that like they can move the ball anyway. So Drew Brees will get rid of the ball quickly. I don't really fear the pass rush of the Buccaneers getting there too much because of how fast he'll release the ball. Just quick dump offs to a guy like, even Jared Cook's been involved the past 3 weeks or so. He's been pretty good, honestly. So Jared Cook, you have Kamara, you get Thomas back. I don't know if Sanders is back. I think he was on the COVID list. It might be another week for him, but if they get him back, it's even better. So they have enough weapons there. I like the Saints team, and I do love the Buccaneers. This is one of my favorite teams coming into the year, but the Buccaneers, man, they didn't look that sharp on Monday night. Maybe this was like a look-ahead game for them. They said, hey, we play the Saints next week. We're playing the crappy Giants. Let's just, sleepwalk through this one. But they almost lost, so that could have been pretty bad for them. But I think Tampa Bay, they might have some weaknesses, but, honestly, the Saints are a pretty damn good team. So they'll keep it close. I could see the Bucs winning this one by 3 or 4, but if you're giving me 5 points with a team like the Saints, I will take the Saints every time there. Next, we are on to Monday Night Football. Honestly, one of the worst matchups you can think of. And I will say we're in week 9 now, Andrew. I have never taken the Jets on this show yet, and this is a very important moment because I am going to take the Jets at +7. Right now, the Patriots are -7 in this game. You heard that right. I'm taking the Jets.
Wow.
I don't know if Sam Darnold's going to play, which is probably pretty important. But you look at Joe Flacco, he's had a lot of success in his career against the Patriots. I mean, why not bring back old memories and whatnot? I mean, I think back to that Billy Cundiff game when they should have went to the Super Bowl. But I'm happy the way it played out because my Giants won the Super Bowl against the Patriots that year. So good job, Billy Cundiff. But anyway, I mean, look, the Jets, they're healthier, I think. I mean, Patriots aren't that great. I know they competed with the Buffalo Bills and probably would have won that game last week. But honestly, the whole AFC East, aside from the Dolphins, has not been impressive the past 2 or 3 weeks. So to call it a +7 for the Jets, and I know last year this was Tom Brady. It was different. This was the game where Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. It was the Monday night game against the Patriots. I think, once again, the Jets were at home in that game as well. So that kind of brings back some bad memories. But if the Jets can find a way to just not be an embarrassment, and honestly, the past 2 weeks, I feel like the Jets have been somewhat competitive in the first half. There was that first half against the Bills where I don't know if they were winning at halftime or it was clear. They were very close. I'll put it that way. Then last week against the Chiefs, they might have went down at halftime. I don't know what the score was, but the Chiefs really pulled away in the third and fourth quarter. So the Jets were in it at some points. But, the Patriots don't have the firepower that obviously the Chiefs have and even the Bills. So, I don't think that this New England offense is that great. They don't have Julian Edelman, which definitely helps the Jets as well. And I mean, I just don't think if this is going to be a win for somebody, it's going to be like a 17-13 win. I don't really see a team winning by a lot. Maybe I'm wrong because, it's the Jets and they're terrible. But I did give you my conspiracy before is that Bill Belichick does not want the Jets to get the first overall pick. Who says Bill Belichick won't lay down and take the L for this game to avoid the Jets getting Trevor Lawrence? And they play in Week 17 as well, I heard. So, if they play the Jets twice and they don't want them to get Trevor Lawrence, they won't let them have him. So, we'll see. I mean, that's kind of a dumb conspiracy, but you never know. So, I'll throw it in there. But, yes, I'm going to take the Jets in this one. Don't feel great about it, but, hey, I got to do it at some point.
You throw out a conspiracy. Let me throw out you conspiracy. Let me just do that real quick. Joe Douglas is holding on to Adam Gase to get Trevor Lawrence. There's a conspiracy for you.
Yes.
That is exactly what is happening. I think you've said that before, actually. I think it's I think that's exactly
what other reason
happening.
would Adam Gase still be there? He's getting fired.
It's weird. Now, this is what I will say, and this is very interesting. I have been on this show for 9 weeks. 9 weeks. Out of all the games that I've looked at, out of all the Jets games I've looked at, I'm a person that is fairly high on the Jets when it comes to things because I look at them on paper last year especially, and I think this team actually has a shot. Out of all the 9 weeks, this is the matchup I looked at, and I said, there is no way Mike is picking the Jets this week. There is no way. And you go and you pick the Jets, and it makes me wonder why. I get your reasoning, but then you just totally blow over the Sam Darnold thing. If Sam Darnold's Joe Flacco has had success against the Patriots, when he's not been on the Jets. He's on the Jets. When you're on the Jets, all your past success is just ruined. It's irrelevant.
And then when you
could
leave the
put
Jets, you
Patrick
become
Mahomes.
really good.
Somehow Patrick Mahomes would be bad on the Jets. I think that's a possibility. I think somehow Patrick Mahomes would be bad on the Jets. And you nailed it. As soon as they watch Avery Williamson become the best linebacker in the NFL. Watch it happen.
Yeah. Robbie Anderson.
I am going to take New England here. As much as I don't like New England's consistency, I think they put up a really good fight against Buffalo. And I think that also goes to show how good New England can be in division matchups, especially since Bill Belichick has been playing them for the last 20 years. He's dominated the Jets. He has dominated the Jets, and maybe if Joe Flacco's in there, maybe that gives them a better chance because he's a more veteran quarterback. But New England is going to win this game. This is the game where people start to say, okay, maybe New England has a chance to make a comeback. I think that's how big New England could possibly win this game. I think Cam Newton comes out and he says to himself, I'm playing the Jets. Let me get going here. He looked pretty good last week. He didn't look that bad to the point where I was like, okay, Cam Newton, get the heck out of New England. But I think New England is going to win this game by more than 7 points against the New York Jets.
I'll tell you what, this makes me more interested to watch.
That was a great way to end it.
Yeah, it makes me more interested to watch this Monday night game because I have just no interest in these teams. But like to now to know that you think that the Jets have no chance of like winning or covering, I am very intrigued now to see this actually happen and play out. So yeah, before we wrap up, we'll get into our favorite bets, which I think were 0-4 last week. So not good. But we've had our weeks where we went 4-0, so we're due for an 0-4. But anyway, give me your 2 favorite bets this week that's on the board.
My 2 favorite bets are going to be the Green Bay Packers is number 1. That's tonight. And I'm also going to go with, just to spice it up, we're going to go with the New England Patriots.
Ooh. You're going to make a mistake. This is just like that Browns game from against the Steelers a few weeks ago where you picked them just to go against me, and the Browns lost by like 45 points. This is going to be that. I'm not going to lose by 45, but you get it. It's not. You're doing it to spite me. Not a good idea.
You said the Browns are good. I should have known that they were going to be bad. Well, no, they're not even that bad.
Yeah, the Browns, they're a playoff team. All right, come on. All right, so I'm between 3 games that I have marked off right now. I'm between the Giants, I'm between the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm between the Saints. I will take
the Jets.
No chance.
I want you to take the bet so badly.
No, it's not happening. I did for this, but not for the favorite. I'm not betting on it. Maybe I will on the Jets. We'll see how the weekend goes. But I will take the Giants because why the hell not? And I will take the I'm taking Baltimore. I'm going to take the Giants and Baltimore in this one. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel
of course you went with Baltimore against my Colts.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a fun one to watch as well. Definitely some, a little bit of a rivalry between us and those teams. So we'll go with that.
I think what we need to do, I think what you need to do is at the end of the year when this is all done, just make a cold take montage from the show. A cold take montage, everything.
Yeah, I would if I have like a Saturday doing nothing or even a Sunday because then the season will be over. Yeah, I will definitely look into that. I feel like that'd be something that would be pretty enjoyable, and for people that watch this weekly, it would be pretty funny to reflect on. So, yeah, why not? But that'll do it for this video. Hopefully, we get this uploaded before the Thursday night game starts. We have about an hour, so I will get working on that real quick. But thank you for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.